Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Brother John Stewart on behalf of Lost Sheep Ministries, here to take y'all on another little walk with the word for the day. So today, I'm going to share with you so important lesson out of the book of Psalms, Psalm 75, verses 4 through 7. So in Psalm 75, verses 4 through 7, the Lord tells us this. He said, I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up your horn on high. Speak not with a stiff neck, for promotion come neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. When I was reading through those verses, immediately I thought about the story of King Nebuchadnezzar. Now, King Nebuchadnezzar was this great king of Babylon, and he has this huge, vast kingdom. And I believe his kingdom was so huge, he had like 120 different provinces. And if you know your Bible, his name should sound familiar to you, because he was actually the king that the Lord used to punish Israel when he kicked Israel out the land. Because he had told them it was going to happen. Like, hey, if y'all go in the land, do what you're supposed to do. We're going to be good. You're going to have all this prosperity and all these things, good things going to happen to you. But if you don't follow my commandments, you start worshiping other gods, I'm going to kick you out of the land. And of course, Israel were hard-headed. One minute they listen, one minute they won't. And over a period of time, God got tired of them, kicked them out of the land. And this was the king that the Lord actually used to conquer his own people. And he went in there and he destroyed the holy city. I mean, he burnt the temple down, burned down all the houses, took all the people captive. Well, all the important people, left some of the poor, the important people, he left some of the poor people there to like take care of the land. But all the important people took them away captive, the ones that he didn't kill or whatnot, and he destroyed the land and took them all over to Babylon. So he was this really great king. And it's great because those two lands wasn't close. Israel wasn't close to Babylon, but he had such a vast amount of wealth that he had enough money to make that track down there to conquer Israel, and he did. So he was very great. And the problem with greatness, especially with us human beings, a lot of time with our greatness comes pride. And we know this king was prideful because he's also the same king that made the 90-foot statue that he tried to force Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to worship. It was a 90-foot statue made out of gold. I think it was 90 feet tall, made out of pure gold. I think it was like 6 inches thick or something like that, but made out of pure gold. And he had the ability to do that because he had this great kingdom. So he started getting his pride. He did conquer Israel, which was supposed to be God's holy land. You know what I'm saying? So his pride didn't swell up. And after a little bit after that happened, and he had this dream. So he had this dream and didn't know what it meant. Wouldn't talk to Daniel, and Daniel actually interpreted the dream for him. And Daniel told him, like, man, king, God letting you know that, man, your head getting too big on your shoulders. You need to slow your roll. Your head getting swole. And if you don't slow your roll, something bad gonna happen to you. And he listened for a little bit. Then about a year later, said he was walking out on his balcony and looking over his kingdom. And he's like, man, look how great I am. Look at this great kingdom that I have by my own might. And it said the moment he said that, God said, oh, Nebuchadnezzar, now your kingdom has been snatched from you. So in that moment, he snatched his kingdom from him, and he also snatched his mind from him. So for like a 7 periods of time is what the Bible described. For 7 periods of time, he just roamed the wilderness as a wild man. It said his hair got so thick and matted that it was like eagle's feathers. And then it said his fingernails were so long and thick that it was like eagle's claws. And he ate like grass like the cows. And he just slept in the grass and slept under the dew. I mean, he was basically like an animal for 7 periods of time. But then after that 7 periods of time, he humbled himself. And that's what it's about. He humbled himself. And when he humbled himself, he finally looked toward heaven and he gave God his props. You know what I'm saying? He finally looked toward heaven and he understood he was elevated not because of his greatness, but because of the grace of God. And see, that's something that we've forgotten as the human race. That's why humanism and atheism are the two main religions right now. Because what it does is removes God, and instead of us praising God for our elevation, we praise ourselves for our elevation. Yeah, boy, we were just some chemicals in a puddle of water, and we just, over millions of years, boy, we just worked really hard, and we brought ourselves out of that water and grew legs and grew lungs and grew all these complicated eye systems, and now we're the human race. You know what I'm saying? That's insane. That's foolish to think that. Our elevation comes from God. True elevation comes from God. And the thing is, you'll know that when you get truly elevated, you'll know it comes from God, because the way God do it, he does it in a way that is undeniable. He does it in a way because he always uses the most unlikely of people to do it. So you can't be like, oh man, that dude, his greatness got him there. You're like, no, it ain't no way that dude could have got there without God. That's why people ask like, man, why do you love God so much? Like, because you look at my life, you can easily say it ain't no way with all the obstacles I went through as a young person that I should be in here. I'm only in this position I am is because of the grace of God. You see what I'm saying? And that's what happened with David. Like I said, we're not about David, but that's what happened to David. David got elevated by God, and that's why we always talking about him. You know what I'm saying? Because when Samuel went to David's house to anoint the king, I think he had seven. Either he had 7 brothers and he was number 8, or he had eight brothers and no, he was 8 brothers and he was number 8, or he had 7 brothers. I don't know how it was, but I know it was 7 involved. So I don't know if it was 7 brothers and he was number 7, or it was 8 brothers and he was number 8. But either way it go, he was the youngest. And if you know Israelite tradition, the oldest is the one that gets the blessing, like the inheritance. They're the one that get any kind of elevation is gonna go to the oldest, because he's the one that's supposed to carry on the family name and whatnot. So when Samuel came and said he was gonna anoint the king, they didn't even invite David. They were like, you know what I'm saying? All the other 7 brothers stood up there, and Samuel went through each one, and he was like, well, surely this is gonna be the guy, because he's handsome and he's this and that. And the Lord was like, no. He said, you looking at him from an outside appearance, I'm looking at the heart. And he said, none of these niggas is worthy. He said, and so Samuel like, man, look, none of these are worthy. Y'all, you ain't got no more sons? And then like, oh yeah, David, but it's just David. He's out in the fields. Like, I mean, they didn't even consider the guy. They didn't even invite him in. Oh yeah, we got David. He's out in the fields though. We ain't worried about him. And what is Samuel? No, that we're not gonna sit down and do anything else till he get here. So they went and got David, and what happened? David got anointed. So God elevated him over all of his brothers. So you know they was pissed. Because if you can actually see it, a couple of interactions after that happened that showed that they was pissed because he got elevated over them. And they was pissed and they hated on him, but they couldn't do nothing about it because their elevation came from God. It was the same with Joseph. Joseph was elevated over all his brothers, and they was upset. That's why they sold him to slavery. So even though they did try to hate on him, they tried to do something to him, even the thing they did to him just only elevated him more, because he ended up becoming the second most powerful person in the land of Egypt. So you got to understand something. When God elevates you, he sets you up on a foundation that can't be moved. But when we elevate ourselves, when you elevate yourself, whatever you gain can easily be snatched away. That's what happened to my brother Kanye. I love him to death, but he was not a humble dude. He was always talking about how great he was, still to this day talking about how great he was, and look where he's at now. You know what I'm saying? He's still doing his thing a little bit, but he's nowhere near what he used to be. You know, but this king here, once he looked up to heaven, you know what I'm saying, and humbled himself and gave props to God, it said God gave him twice as much honors as he had before he left. See what I'm saying? But I can understand why Kanye feel that way. I can understand why a lot of these celebrities feel this way, because this world loves to worship the creation and not the creator. So it'll have you thinking that you're a big deal because of your own greatness. In reality, when that start happening, that's when your pride comes in. And what pride precedes? Pride precedes destruction, because it says in the Bible, pride comes before destruction. So when you're getting all those compliments and those criticisms, take those compliments and those criticisms and put them both in the same trash can. Because when you do that, then you'll be able to remain humble and wait while the Lord elevate. And that has been your little walk with the word for the day. I pray these are blessing y'all. If they are, make sure you like, share, tag, comment, repost. If you want to catch my full sermons, catch me on Facebook Live, Monday night, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then I post them on my Facebook page, and I also post them on my YouTube page. If you want to find all my little social media outlets, just go to lostsheepministry.com. You can find them all there. And if you're not 100% sure about your salvation, you know, don't know if you're going to see Jesus and go through that door called death, reach out to me and let me know. Put some time in my schedule to go over the gospel with you. I love you all. Remember, always watch your back and pray. Until next time, peace.